Good to see you. Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Hello, North Central Washington. Hello, everybody who has decided to start your day with us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel. I am Dan Kuntz. Thursday, the 4th day of February 2021. Lots to get to today. This is going to be a busy show. It's going to be an adult portion of television. We're not going to check ID. We're kid-friendly, but there's a lot of things to touch on. Right out of the box, Pine Canyon, still closed, all right? Pine Canyon, Highway 2, between Orondo and Waterville, still closed. It was a lot of rocks that came down, and they still haven't been able to get the whole situation rectified yet. Not only do they have to clear all the rocks out of the way, they got to make sure that the slope where the rocks came down is stable enough to let traffic go through. So still, if you need to drive up to Waterville from here in the Wenatchee Valley, Badger Mountain Road is going to be your alternate route if it opens. Again, sometime during the course of this program, we will let you know. Another beautiful day today. A little blip coming our way over the weekend. Going to cool down a little bit. It's going to be a little windy on Saturday. All in all, not too bad. Next week is going to be really interesting. It's going to be a big blast of cold Arctic air coming down. That's next week. This week and the rest of the week and into the weekend, we continue with this very sunny and mild weather. We got lots of news to get to, most of it COVID related, not necessarily all of it. Gonzaga men finally found a couple of teams to play so they can keep playing basketball. We'll talk about that when we get to sports. Plus, we'll preview Super Bowl 55, which is a registered trademark of the National Football League, all rights reserved. All right, let's begin our festivities, as we always begin our festivities. With our tour around the valley, it is clear and 36 degrees. Feels a little cooler than that, but that's the official temperature outside of our studios as we look out over the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera. And the snow continues to recede on Badger Mountain and Birch Mountain. Birch Mountain is the one you can see mostly in our view. Badger Mountain is blocked for the most part, but still a spectacular shot there from the cross camera. It is always, it's so cool to have that view of the valley available to us. It's Megan's choice. Let's see where we go. She wants to go see Lake Chelan, I believe, from, I want to say, Bear Mountain. Yay, I got both correct. That body of water is Lake Chelan. The camera location is near the Bear Mountain Golf Course, and we're looking almost directly to the northwest, to the snow-capped hills that surround the Lake Chelan area, Manson off into the distance. Good morning to Lake Chelan, which is a great place to visit any time of the year, but if you want to go up for a nice peaceful weekend without tourists and boats and noise and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, this is a good time to go. Camera number 3. Let's see what's happening in, oh, that was jarring. Briefly Lake Wenatchee, but no, we're going to check out Cashmere. Beautiful Cashmere, Washington. Traffic seems to be flowing. Of course, a great number of people live in Cashmere, but work in the Wenatchee Valley, and so you see quite a bit of traffic heading from Cashmere to the valley proper, and then around 5:30 or so, the opposite happens as they head back to Cashmere. Okay? We can see almost the entire town of Cashmere and the outlying areas around Cashmere from that spectacular view. And finally, I think we're going to Lake Wenatchee. Yeah, there we are. Haven't used that camera in a while. The Two Rivers camera at the top of Lake Wenatchee. Looks like it's moving a little bit. Looks like it's a little cloudier up there as well. I think the lake is frozen. It looks like it's frozen. They call it the Two Rivers camera because that's where the Two Rivers comes in. The White River and the Little Wenatchee, which empty into the top of Lake Wenatchee, and eventually, of course, to the Wenatchee River, to the Columbia River, to the Pacific Ocean. There's your geography lesson for this morning on this Thursday. Nicely done, Megan. 4 minutes after the hour, 2 slides, the weekend outlook. Things are going to change a little bit. The one thing here for the Wenatchee Valley, it's going to cool down, but it's all going to be relative. Temperatures are still going to be above normal. We hit 46 yesterday. Our normal high would be 38, so this mild weather continues. It is going to start cooling down a little bit. A slight cooling trend. It's going to be windy in the Wenatchee Valley on Saturday as a weak low comes down from Vancouver Island on Saturday and Sunday. Still going to be fairly mild for this time of the year. Light mountain snow on the east slopes of the Cascades near us, but the Cascade crest, I-90 and Stevens are going to get a lot of snow. Check out this slide. Heavy mountain snow through Friday morning. This is just through Friday morning in the Cascades. Look at that big band of red and maroon and yellow. That means snow. And lots of snow. In fact, check out this. What you see there is only through Friday morning, but they're going to have pretty much consistent snow all the way through Saturday night. And for the mountain passes, anywhere from 17 to 32 inches of fresh white powder is expected to fall in the mountain passes between today and Saturday night into early Sunday morning. That is a lot of snow, and I'm no expert. From the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. Again, we do it again today. We're going to have a few more clouds, maybe. Not too bad. We'll take it. High of about 45 degrees. By the way, sunrise this morning, 7:22. Sunset tonight, 5:08. That means we get 9 hours and 46 minutes of daylight here for the Wenatchee Valley. Partly cloudy. We'll stay about 36 for the overnight low, which is where we're at right now. More sunshine Friday and a high of 48. And then on Saturday, the snow level is going to be pretty high. We'll have mostly sunny, but we can't rule out some early morning raindrops. And it's also going to be breezy on Saturday as this weak low comes through that I just mentioned. We could see gusts about 20, 25 miles an hour at times on Saturday, but it tapers down on Saturday night. And then we start that cooling trend that we talked about. We'll be right at the freezing mark Saturday night for Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl is a registered trademark of the National Football League, all rights reserved. Sunshine, high of 43. Here comes that Arctic air that they've been talking about. That's going to be the big story next week as we start to see, well, it's the potential anyway for some very cold temperatures. Probably going to bottom out by Tuesday or Wednesday. They don't really know just how cold it's going to get. We'll have a better idea on how cold it's going to get by this time tomorrow. But be prepared for some winter-type temperatures after this unseasonably warm weather that'll be coming our way starting Sunday night. You saw that overnight low will be in the mid-20s. Let's go to the passes. A little dicey up there right now. There's Snoqualmie Pass. Traction tires are advised on I-90. It is raining. The roadway is pretty much bare and wet. There is some slush in places. It is snowing on Stevens lightly right now, but it's going to get heavier. Traction tires are advised on US 2 Stevens with some snow coming down and snow and slush on the roadway. And Blewett Pass is okay. Roadway is bare and dry. Overcast skies. No advisories or restrictions on Blewett. Here's your forecast for the passes today, all right? Between I-90 and Stevens, anywhere from 3 to 7 inches of new snow today, 4 to 8 inches tonight, couple of inches on Friday, couple of inches on Friday night, big time snow Saturday, 4 to 8 inches possible. Saturday night, an additional 4 to 8 inches possible. So by Sunday morning, between now and Sunday morning, anywhere between 17 to 32 inches of new snow starting today and lasting through Sunday morning. It's probably going to snow pretty consistently from right now on Stevens Pass anyway, from right now on Stevens all the way through till Saturday night. So if you're driving into the Cascades this weekend, heads up. Going to be a bit on the dicey side. 8 minutes after the hour, a quick break, and then we'll come back with your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Levies are for learning and provide important local funding to support Wenatchee schools. Levies help fill the gap between what the state funds as basic education and the cost of all the programs, services, and essential staff Wenatchee School District provides our students. The state provides funding for most teachers, but levy dollars increase the number of staff in critical roles like nurses, counselors, technology support staff, teaching assistants, and custodians. For example, the state funds just one nurse for our entire school district. Levy funding provides for an additional 6 nurses to support our students. These staff positions have continued to be critical in supporting the education, health, and well-being of our students and families during the pandemic. Levies also provide the essential funding to go beyond basic education and provide specialists and elective classes, technology, including laptops for students, and enrichment programs like AVID and HiCap. Extracurricular programs in our district, such as art, drama, music, and sports, are all thanks to the local levy. Our current levy expires in 2021. If approved, the 4-year renewal levy will continue the current levy rate that was previously approved by voters. It is not a new tax. This levy is a continuation of our community's commitment to our schools and investment in our children. The election is February 9th. Please remember to vote.
10 minutes after the hour on this Thursday, clear skies for the most part. 36 degrees. We'll be in the mid-40s again today. Lots of sunshine for the most part. Going to do it again on Friday, little windy on Saturday, then we start cooling down starting Sunday, but bountiful sunshine for the most part. Here are your headlines. The number of new COVID-19 cases in Chelan and Douglas counties continued to fall sharply. We have the Health District's latest weekly report, came out yesterday afternoon. The Chelan Douglas Health District's weekly thermal graphic showing 323 new cases per 100,000 residents over the past 2 weeks. That's down from 472 new cases per 100,000 that was reported last week. New cases for the two counties has been steadily declining since reaching its peak of more than 1,000 cases per 100,000 residents. That was back in December. Now, the improvement likely will help our region, the North Central region, of Governor Jay Inslee's Healthy Washington plan meet at least one of the three metrics needed to loosen restrictions on businesses and gatherings. The other two counties in our region, Grand and Okanagan, have also been reporting a declining number of positive test results. The North Central region met only one of the four metrics last week. It will be reevaluated next week. The city of East Wenatchee is offering its employees an additional 4 hours of vacation time if they get the COVID-19 vaccine when they're eligible to get the shots. The city council unanimously approved the incentive program at its Tuesday meeting. Mayor Jerry Lee Crawford first brought up the idea to the council back on January 19th, saying the estimated $8,000 cost of the incentive program is money well spent.
Obviously, I'm very motivated to keep staff safe and protected and would love for staff to get the vaccine if they're comfortable with that. I've noticed some businesses, they're private businesses, but some private businesses are offering an incentive for staff to get the vaccine. I don't think we have anyone here who's absolutely opposed to getting the vaccine, but it's possible we might have people who aren't maybe thrilled about going and getting stuck with a needle a couple times. So I've asked Josh DeLay to come up with what it would be if we were to offer maybe 4 hours of vacation time if you were to get the vaccine, what that would look like as an expense to the city. And it would be just under $8,000 if every single person here got the vaccine and we gave them 4 hours of vacation time. So I think the savings would be that if we're protected, we have less people who are out sick. One of my concerns is in the police department, if we get someone on a squad who gets exposed, most likely they're exposing those other people on the squad. And then we have had a situation where we've had a couple guys out and it means that we're short-staffed. And then bringing in folks from other teams to cover those shifts, and then we're paying them overtime. So in a lot of ways, I think that $8,000 would be money well spent in that it saves us from having a staff shortage.
12th District State Senator Brad Hawkins is asking Governor Jay Inslee to make all K-12 teachers in our state eligible for COVID-19 vaccinations. Now, the state is currently in Phase 1B, Tier 1 of its vaccine eligibility. Teachers and staffers wouldn't be in line for vaccines until Tier 2, and then only if they're 50 or older. In a letter to the governor dated Wednesday, Hawkins asked Inslee to advance the entire state to Phase 1B, Tier 2, which would allow school employees providing in-person instruction to be assigned to Phase 1B, Tier 1, or grant discretion to local health providers on how to administer the vaccines. Speaking of lawmakers, the 12th District state legislators voted against Washington's major COVID-19 relief bill in the House of Representatives. This was on Monday. Keith Gaynor and Mike Steele, both Republicans, joined 34 of their fellow GOP members to oppose the $2.2 billion relief bill, which is federally funded and includes money for schools, COVID-19 testing, and vaccines. The bill nonetheless passed 61-36. It heads for a hearing in the Senate Ways and Means Committee today. With mass vaccination and public education about COVID-19 at its peak, these first few months of 2021 are going to be crucial in the fight against the pandemic. In a press briefing this week with the Washington State Hospital Association, Dr. Doug Wilson, who is the incoming CEO of Confluence Health, gave insight on where North Central Washington stands in that fight right now and what its future may hold.
as you know, our hospital was at capacity, being kind of the referral center for North Central Washington and the only ICU. We definitely had to expand ICU capacity and move staff from their usual jobs into helping primarily with the ICU, but also with the progressive care unit to take care of inpatients. And gratifyingly, our case numbers are going down now quite a bit. Just for kind of reference, Chelan and Douglas counties, which are the counties nearest to where Confluence Health has our hospitals, has had about 4,500 cases confirmed and about almost 70 deaths. But our case positivity rate, although we have a good availability of testing now through our drive-through here, and then of course there are other partners in the region doing testing. Positivity rate's down. It looks like it's below the 10% mark pretty consistently the last several days, so we're very happy about that. And our ICU right now only has 5 ventilated patients, 8 patients overall with COVID in the ICU, 11 in isolation, and we've got 16 total in the hospital, which is something like half what we were running there for quite a while. Here in North Central Washington, we're already thinking about the agricultural season, and I think that's going to be an evolution. We're going to have to see what the ability of the federal government to help is going to be, but we know we will play a role in working with the ag industry. We're also very proud of particularly some of our native Spanish-speaking physicians have been very involved in the community here and reaching out to the Latinx community and the Spanish-speaking community to be sure that they have access and have their questions answered and feel safe coming in and getting vaccinated. So lots of things need to be done, but lots of things are in progress.
There is some non-COVID news this morning. Police from several agencies had to chase a bus that was stolen from the Grant County Transit Authority in Moses Lake to Grand Coulee. This happened on Wednesday morning. The bus crashed. 62-year-old Richard Manley of Grand Coulee arrested. The Transit Authority reported the 18-passenger bus stolen from Moses Lake about 7 a.m. A short time later, Grant County Sheriff's deputies spotted the vehicle heading north on Highway 28 near Stratford. A chase ensued that was eventually joined by Soap Lake Police and the Washington State Patrol. Grand Coulee Police twice set up spike strips as the pursuit reached Electric City. The bus continued on flat tires anyway, finally crashed in Grant Coulee, as you see there. Soap Lake Police reported that Manley was not injured, and he told officers that he was just trying to get home to Grand Coulee. And finally, a Wenatchee man who had allegedly cashed about $17,000 in fraudulent checks last fall arrested on Tuesday. He now faces possible charges of identity theft and related felonies. 39-year-old John Irvin Witherspoon has a Wenatchee address, but local police say he used a North Carolina's driver's license back in November when he passed 2 checks on someone else's closed account at KeyBank. And on his 3rd attempt, bank managers recognized Witherspoon, contacted police. He had been sought for questioning for months until he was arrested on Tuesday. Wenatchee police booked him into the Chelan County Regional Justice Center. Those are your headlines at 18 minutes after the hour. If today is any indication of what it's been for the last couple of weeks, we're going to have another busy news day today with Eric in sports and Grant handling the anchor duties. He also does a little weather forecasting with a preview of tonight's news. Here's Grant.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, some mountain snow showers today into Friday morning, but all in all, beautiful February weather right through the upcoming weekend. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom gives us the first preview of Sunday's Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. One quick little update on Pine Canyon. It is still closed as of this morning. And again, if they get it reopened between now and the top of the hour, we'll let you know. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a news tip or just want to drop us a line, you can go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. You can go to our homepage and use the contact icon at the top of our homepage, or you can email us, news@ncwlife.com. When we come back, Gonzaga basketball, the men have scheduled a couple of games so they can remember how to play basketball. Talk about that, talk a little Super Bowl, and a few other odds and ends. Sports is coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CVCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CVCH respects that.
Low prices. Every aisle. Every department. Every day. We're working to save you money. Winco.
Now in Wenatchee at 1340 North Wenatchee Avenue.
We are back at 21 minutes after the hour. Gonzaga found a couple of opponents to play this week. They're going to be road games, but hey, basketball is basketball. The number 1 ranked Bulldogs will play today at Pacific at 3 o'clock, and then Monday they'll be at BYU at 5 o'clock. That game on ESPN. Now, the change was necessitated by cancellations by Loyola Marymount and Santa Clara, who couldn't make the trip to Spokane because they have COVID issues in their programs. Also on the men's college basketball schedule today, some Pac-12 contests. Washington plays at Oregon State at 6, and Washington State plays at Oregon at 8, and then the teams will switch on Saturday. Oregon will host the Dogs, and the Cougars will play at Oregon State. The women's schedule remains the same for now. Everything is fluid, of course. Washington State will host number 5 UCLA tomorrow at noon. USC will play at Washington at 7, and then Sunday, it's reversed. The Trojans visit Pullman at noon, and the Bruins will take on the Huskies at 2 o'clock in Seattle. Just 2 weeks away now from pitchers and catchers reporting to Peoria. Spring training for the Mariners. Of course, the Mariners share their practice facilities with the Padres. And a player who came over from the Padres to the Mariners late last season in a trade, Ty France. France is expected to battle for a starting spot at second base with Shed Long Jr. and Dylan Moore. France tells Mariner fans, hey, Seattle's potential to compete in the American League West is pretty good.
To finally get that full 162 hopefully this year, and just to have that comfort of knowing, this organization wants me and they want me in the lineup every day. It's a huge boost for me, and I'm definitely looking forward to this challenge. Just being there my short time in Seattle, it doesn't feel like we're far off. We have that good core young group. We're just missing a couple pieces that I think will really help take this team to the next level, and we really aren't far off. The Padres, like you said, they've done a great job from 2015 on to get to where they are now, and it was pretty cool to experience the growth there. And like I said, I really don't feel like we're far off here in Seattle.
So pitchers and catchers report in a couple of weeks. The rest of the position players February 22nd, their first exhibition game. February 27th, the regular season will have Seattle hosting the Giants April 1st at T-Mobile Park. A very important relationship in the network of an NFL team is the relationship between the starting quarterback and the offensive coordinator. Now, outgoing offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer and Russell Wilson had a pretty good relationship, as we know now. Now Schottenheimer's gone, so Russell Wilson has to build a new relationship with the new coordinator. Shane Waldron, the 41-year-old Portland native, says, hey, Russ and I are already talking.
Talked a lot about our families and just really getting to know each other more as people, because I do think, the football part of it, that's going to be an important part of it when the time's right. But, our conversations really have centered around, just who we are as people, because you're in a room with some guys for a lot of hours every day when that season gets rolling. And I think that compatible personality, he seems like he has this unrelenting desire to be better, to be the best that he can be. So I think, when we started talking about those things, that's where it was some really fun conversations. And, a lot of those details I'll leave between him and I, but those are the things that we really talked about. And like I said, it's a relationship-based business. So the starting point for him and I was just trying to build that relationship, see how we would interact together. And when you're able to sit there and have conversations that are natural and fluid and talk about everything and not just football, I think that's a great foundation for where this relationship can go.
Waldron grew up in Portland, went to high school in LaSalle, and he admitted when he was growing up in the Rose City, he didn't really follow the Seahawks.
Growing up, I was a huge Blazers fan, so I know some of the Supersonics people in the Seattle area will maybe get on me a little bit about that. But I was an NFL fan all around. Probably growing up more in the college football world, as far as Oregon having the Ducks, and then and the Beavers going there. So, but I always followed these guys. I mean, from when I was a little kid with Steve Largent, and then moving on right up the ranks to all the greats that have played up in Seattle. I think it's been something I've always followed, and something I'm looking forward to joining that family of fans with.
Waldron and his wife and his 2 kids are in the process of moving to Seattle, and he gets to work for the Seahawks. Countdown continues. Super Bowl Sunday, 55th edition of the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay against Kansas City. For viewers on DirecTV, though, there's an argument going on between Cairo TV and DirecTV that's resulted in Cairo going dark. The skirmish is between Cox Media Group, they're the people who own Cairo, and DirecTV over the carriage fees. That means no Cairo, and also could mean no Super Bowl for those who receive Cairo on DirecTV. The disagreement between the two sides does not affect your ability to watch Cairo on cable or other satellite companies or over the air. Cairo is asking his viewers who have been impacted to contact DirecTV and tell them, I want my station back. Super Bowl's on Sunday. AT&T DirecTV, quoted in tvtechnology.com this week, as saying, quote, we're disappointed. Cox Media Group and Wall Street financier Apollo Global Management have intentionally put our customers in the middle of a private business matter. We continue to work with Apollo and Cox to get the situation back and appreciate our customers' patience while we do. And quote, by the way, you can still watch Cairo on Localtel, of course, cable, and you can watch Super Bowl 55 here in the Wenatchee Valley if you got us. So, The game itself features the NFL's oldest quarterback in 43-year-old Tom Brady against one of the league's youngest, 25-year-old Patrick Mahomes. Here's a fun fact. Tom had graduated from high school in California, passing for over 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns in his senior year in high school before Patrick Mahomes was born. That's hard to believe. And it's Thursday night, hockey night tonight on the NCW Life Channel, where our feature game is from Thanksgiving weekend of 2019. The Wild and the Rivermen from Langley. Art Checker with the call tonight at 7 o'clock, and those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 28 minutes after the hour, I had 4 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Create a Vacuum Day. Today is National Thank a Mail Carrier Day. So thanks to my mail carrier. Today is National Hemp Day. Insert your own joke now. Good. We're going to go with National Homemade Soup Day. It's one thing to buy condensed soup. There's nothing wrong with that. It works. Condensed soup goes back to the early, I think 1897 is when condensed soup was invented. But who's kidding who? Homemade soup is the way to go. Of course, soup goes way back to the very beginning of mankind. You would have all these scraps of food, and you needed as many calories as you could to survive, so they devised the idea of soup, throwing a bunch of stuff in together, heating it up with whatever you can find, and call it good. The most popular soups in America, the top 5 on this National Homemade Soup Day. Number 5, minestrone. Nothing wrong with that. Number 4, potato soup. Number 3, clam chowder. Is that a soup? I guess it is. Number 2, tomato soup. And the most popular soup in America, chicken noodle. But make it from scratch. Make your homemade soup today in the dead of winter. Good time to have National Homemade Soup Day on February 4th. 29 minutes after the hour, today in history, there's the Electoral College map of the very first presidential election. George Washington won the Green States, in case you're curious. February 4th, 1789, 232 years ago, George Washington unanimously elected as the first president of the United States by the Electoral College. The election itself was held from December 15th to January 10th because this was, the late 1700s, and that's how it was done. All 69 electors cast their votes for George Washington. John Adams got 34 electoral votes, so he got the vice presidency. That's how that worked. Whoever finished second was the vice presidency. We don't do that anymore. 3 states, as you see, didn't participate in the election. North Carolina and Rhode Island had yet to ratify the Constitution, and New York couldn't agree on who their electors would be, so they were out. And George Washington was and remains to this day the only president of the United States who was not a member of a political party. When he left office 8 years later, they had political parties, and we've had them ever since. George got the gig 232 years ago today. Probably our most forgotten war started on this date 122 years ago. The Philippine-American War began with the Battle of Manila. February 4th, 1899. The war itself lasted 3 years and 4 months. How did this whole thing got started? Well, we had the Spanish-American War, which we won, and Spain lost. And so part of the agreement with the Treaty of Paris is that Spain gave the Philippines, which they gave the Philippines to the United States. It became a United States territory. Of course, the locals in the Philippines weren't consulted on this, and they weren't real happy about that. Hey, we want to be our own country. This is an insurrection, and the United States, said, hey, well, you belong to us, so don't be fighting and fussing and feuding. Well, they said, no, we want to be our own country, so we went to war. We won. Crazy stuff. Speaking of war, 76 years ago today, the Yalta Conference began between the big three as they begin to carve up the divvies of the victorious Allies in World War II. The war wasn't over yet, but it was obvious at this point that the Allies were going to win, and Germany and Italy and Japan were going to lose. And so Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin got together in the Crimea and said, well, what are we going to do? Well, of course, Stalin had all the aces up the sleeves because his troops were already there and they weren't going to go anywhere. Said, no, we're going to go ahead and just take Poland. Poland is the route between Germany and the Soviet Union. Roosevelt was a very sick man. He would die just a few weeks later after the Yalta Conference. So Stalin got his way, Churchill not so much. Roosevelt kind of split the middle. The Yalta Conference began on this date to figure out what they're going to do to Europe once the war was over, and we know what they did to Europe when the war was over. They divvied it up. Again, the Poles were not consulted on that. Happy birthday to, well, In Your Facebook is 17 years old today. It has 2.8 billion active users. If you want low self-esteem, if you love conspiracy theories, fake news, hate speech, surveillance, aforementioned of your political views, and if you love to mercilessly and mock public figures of all kinds, please join Facebook today. It's 17 years old. And now let's do some Super Bowls because it's that time of the year. This is the anniversary of Super Bowl XLI, sometimes called Super Bowl 41. The Colts beat the Bears at Dolphin Stadium in Miami Gardens. Now, we know that these whole stadium naming rights with corporations has been going on for a long time. But this is ridiculous because when they opened the stadium in 1987, it was Joe Robbie Stadium. Then it became Pro Player Park, and then Pro Player Stadium, and then Dolphins Stadium, and then Dolphin Stadium, no plural, and then Landshark Stadium, and then Sun Life Stadium, and then Hard Rock Stadium. And by the time I finish the show, it'll probably have another corporate name. This, of course, was the first Super Bowl that was played in the rain. The most memorable part of this Super Bowl was the halftime show with Prince. He was really good. Yeah, the Colts beat the Bears. And by the way, Chicago and Indianapolis are the two closest cities geographically to play each other in the Super Bowl. They're only 182 miles apart. Super Bowl 41. Yeah, it happened on this date back in whenever the heck it was. Let's see. And Super Bowl LII, Super Bowl 52 3 years ago. In Minneapolis, the Eagles beat the Patriots 41-33 to win Super Bowl LII. Patriots fatigue gets set in by then because this was the lowest rated Super Bowl in a decade. People were just kind of sick and tired of the Patriots. They kind of tuned it out. 30 Super Bowl records were set in this game, including fewest punts. There was one punt in the entire game, and they missed 4 extra points. It was a pretty entertaining game. And for those people who don't like the Patriots, it was a great day. Birthdays. At 34 minutes after the hour, Charles Lindbergh, Lucky Lindy, the first man to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, became an international celebrity and certainly a very controversial man. He was born in the state in 1902, died of lymphoma in 1974 at the age of 72. I'm not going to get into his controversial statements leading into World War II. He was an isolationist, but a lot of people were. But yeah, he truly believed in eugenics, and he took it to the most extreme thing you can think of in the world of eugenics. He fathered 6 children with his wife, Anne, between 1930 and 1945, and he secretly fathered 7 additional children between 1958 and 1967. He wanted to make sure they had the pure Aryan blood. He would go to Germany and do the job. Yeah, 7 children out of wedlock between 1958 and 1967 with 3 different women from Germany. 2 of them were sisters. The children, the 7 illegitimate children, had no idea who their father was. This information did not come public until 30 years after Charles Lindbergh died. He was born in the state in 1902. And Rosa Parks, best known, of course, for the Montgomery bus boycott, became a civil rights icon. Born in the state in 1913, died in Detroit at the age of 92 in 2005. The last 20 years of her life were not very good. She had financial difficulties. She was in danger of constantly being thrown out of her apartment. Didn't happen, but when she died in 2005, Rosa Parks became the first woman ever to lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda. We're going to take a break. Mike McNaughty has an opinion, and then we're going to replay the interview we aired a couple of days ago to commemorate National Missing Persons Day. As you know, I talked to Brittany Moore and her mom, Penny Peterson, about the disappearance of Jessie Grace Moore from 4 years ago. It's important information. If you missed it on Tuesday, we're going to play it for you again when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Take on the new year in a new Ford from Pat Armstrong Ford. From premium grade muscle to unparalleled performance, take on any payload. The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 at Pat Armstrong Ford. Take on any adventure. Take on every thrill. The all-new 2021 Bronco Sport and 2021 Mustang Mach-E. Built to take on every resolution at Pat Armstrong Ford. We are community strong in East Wenatchee.
Celebrate the ones you love with wine and chocolate pairings throughout the month of February. At the Siren Winery and Restaurant, we've got wine tasting and dining specials all month long. Don't miss our Valentine's 4-course lobster special paired with wine on February 13th and 14th. Or come anytime during the month of love and enjoy our heated outdoor chalet with its view of Lake Chelan. Open Thursday through Monday, 3 to 7 p.m. Find our menu at sirensongwines.com.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Well, yeah, 2020 sucked. But there's an old prayer that's origination might be from the Jewish tradition, which says this: Lord, let me live in interesting times. Well, these indeed are interesting times, no doubt about it. And there's another saying I like that goes along with this prayer, I feel. It's not what happens to us that defines us, but how we respond to what happened to us that defines who we are. You know, we Americans are spoiled, self-indulgent, and pampered, but we have proven time and time again that in our history that we are resilient, we're adaptive, and we're resourceful. It's true. That's part of our national heritage, part of our national character that gives me hope. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Tomorrow, Wednesday, February 3rd, is National Missing Persons Day, and we could just toss this off as just another day, but for a lot of people whose loved ones have gone missing, for reasons unknown, really, for the most part, we have two very special guests to talk about that because they have a personal story to tell. Penny's going to join us here in just a couple of minutes, but first, we want to introduce Brittany Moore to our television family. Thanks for coming down and visiting with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Before we get into the specific reason why you're here, just a little bit about you, Brittany, to introduce yourself to our television family.
Yeah, so I'm 26 years old. I've lived in Wenatchee my entire life. And in the last 2 years, I've been doing YouTube videos to talk about my sister's disappearance as well as other missing people, and usually people from Washington State, and just help get their stories out there and spread awareness. So yeah.
Well, let's get right to it. Take me back 2 years, because it's been a couple of years.
Yes.
The story that you need to tell, in case it was significant news here for a while, and like a lot of these things, it kind of just falls by the wayside. Give me the story, please.
Yeah, so on June 20th of 2016, my sister, Jessie Grace Moore, was no longer in contact with my family, and it all came out that she went missing, and a video was taken of her the day she went missing at Centennial Park. And we found this video after we realized she was missing, but in the video, her head is shaved, and that was a complete shock to my family and I, and we, to this day, have no idea who did that, if she did that. And in the video, she's clearly under mental stress, and, you know, she's being made fun of in the video, belittled. It was really, you know, heartbreaking to watch, and it's heartbreaking that that is the last memory we have of her. But it is a great identifier. So at that time, her head was shaved. Possibly some lettering was shaved into her head, or 13 lines as well. So yeah, I felt like her case wasn't getting the attention it deserved. She did battle with mental health issues as well as drug abuse. And I feel like stories like hers can fall by the wayside and not get the coverage that they need. So I had reached out to so many people to cover her case, so many, you know, YouTubers, podcasters, and I wasn't getting the response that she deserves to get her case covered. So we kind of took it into our own hands, and, you know, we're almost at 2,000 subscribers where we're able to share her story and get it out there and break it down, the theories and all of the information and who she was as a person, because that's so important, you know, because you can just see a picture of someone and say, people don't realize who she was as a person. She was a beautiful person who was going to offer so much to this world, and someone thought they had the right to take her from us, and 100% we think foul play is involved in her disappearance. That's important to know. We don't think she just up and left. She had 2 sons that she cared about deeply, and even though she was going through a lot at that time, she cared about us, and she wouldn't just up and leave her family, and she was in constant contact with my family all the time. So the fact that we heard nothing from her, it's a huge indicator that something happened to her.
Is the fact that her physical appearance so radically changed in a very short period of time, is that making it more difficult for people who might say, hey, I think I saw her, because you don't really know what she looks like now? I mean, did she grow her hair back? All that stuff. Is that an impediment to possibly finding her?
Yes. Yeah, you know, but we have had a lot of tips that people saw a girl with a head shaved. It's a very distinguishing characteristic, and it wasn't like a nice cut. It was like a butchered cut, so that kind of could have led us to information. But with all this time passed, I mean, it's almost 5 years. Her hair, if she is still out there, very well could have grown back. So yeah.
Where's law enforcement on all this? I know that they're out there.
Yeah.
They're not. This isn't just sitting in a file folder in a cabinet somewhere.
No. Yeah, her case is still open to this day. It's being actively investigated by Steve Evett, and he has helped us tremendously. He looks into everything we send to him, any possible tips, any possible sightings. He will look into it, and he meets with us regularly to communicate, and it makes us feel so reassured that something is being done, steps are being taken to look for Jessie, and it doesn't matter what tips come in. If it's a dead end, he's going to look into it, and he's going to do what he can, and he cares about finding justice for Jessie and finding out what happened to her.
So 4.5 years ago. So how old is Jessie now? Can you give it? We showed some pictures, but of course those pictures that we just showed are not recent.
Yes.
How old would she be now? Can you give us a general description so people can plant that in their head, please?
Yeah, of course. So she was 23 years old when she went missing. She would be 28 now, turning 29 August 28th. She has hazel eyes, brown hair. It could be short, it could be long. We're not too sure on that. She has a darker complexion. She's pretty tan, between 5'2" and 5'3", and she was about 160 pounds when she went missing.
And you're convinced that she didn't go missing on her own volition. This is something that she's against her will, you think?
1,000%,
Okay.
100%. All the information we've got, it pretty much leads to something happened to her. Someone did something to her.
How's the family holding up in all this? Because you said she very rarely did anything that would indicate that she was in touch with you guys all the time, and then all of a sudden one day she's just not, and she's gone. So emotionally, over the last 4.5 years, is it just good days and bad days? Are there days where you simply have given up hope? I mean, help me out here.
Yeah, I think I can only speak from my own experience. I know it's been horrible for everyone. There's no 12 healing steps when a loved one goes missing. I mean, you have that more when someone dies in your family, but it's been so hard, and we've all tried to find healing in our own way, and I think we're shifting now into letting Jessie's story be heard beyond her case, beyond her disappearance, and using what we've learned from her disappearance to help other people. And I think that is where I personally have found the most healing, is to make people who have a missing loved one feel more understood, feel more heard, because it is such an isolating experience to go through that no one should ever have to go through, and not have closure in that way or wonder what's happening to their loved one. So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
You have hope.
We have hope.
You have hope.
We have hope,
That's
yes.
what I'm getting from this. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Penny Peterson is going to join us here in just a few minutes to talk about National Missing Persons Day on a bigger scale. But before I catch you loose, Brittany, what do people do if they think they have seen her, or what next? They go, I think I may have an idea, or who do they get a hold of? All that stuff.
Of course. So you can always call Wenatchee PD, but for a direct line to the detective working her case, Steve Evett, the one I mentioned earlier, his phone number is 509-423-9895.
Well, Officer Steve is one of the best, so he's not. If I know him and I know him, he's not going to let go of this at all.
Yes. Yeah.
So my guess is he thinks about it every day.
Yeah, and we appreciate him so much, and he's awesome.
Keep an eye out, folks, okay? Please keep an eye out. When we come back, Penny Peterson's going to talk about National Missing Persons Day on Wednesday, February 3rd. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
And we are back on Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley for this Tuesday morning. Once again, Wednesday. Tomorrow is National Missing Persons Day. People disappear. They just disappear. Sometimes of their own volition, as we just heard from Brittany. Sometimes, most of the time, probably not. There's some foul play going on, or at least some bad cahootinizing going on. Here to talk about it in a larger sense is Penny Peterson, our old friend, who I got a chance to meet and get to know Penny at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And you're first of all, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're involved in this in what way? How do you connect the dots here?
Well, when Jessie, my granddaughter, came up missing, that was an eye-opener. And you really don't think about that. You don't think about it in your day-to-day activity until it happens to you, and then you start doing some research and start looking into things. And you're like, oh my goodness, there's so many missing people. You know, it's just devastating, really. And unless you've had that happen to you, you just have no comprehension as to how these people feel, how the family that's left behind feel and what they're going through. So it's nice that they have this going out. It's a National Missing Persons Day. So
you told me off camera, there are over, in this state alone, there are over 700 people who have simply disappeared.
yes, actually, it's like 700 and
I find that an alarming number.
729 people in Washington State. Yes.
Are just disappeared.
Disappeared. So I did some running of numbers. There's like 7,170,000 residents in Washington State. So if you take and divide this all up, almost every 10,000 people, there's one person that comes up missing out of Washington State. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just need to get some more awareness out there. And so this, the National Missing Persons Day is a great way of doing that. And interesting, because the reason why that got started, I'd kind of like to read a little bit.
Oh, please do.
Started by Joanne Lowitzer. She founded this day because her daughter Alexandria went missing in 2010. So, and they still have not found her. So, and then she realized that there isn't much out there for help of people. So really the idea of it is to share as much as we possibly can. In our community, which we have a wonderful community. I mean, everybody, once they know something, they want to help. And the best way they can help is to share pictures, the stories, and in that ways, you know, we've had posters up, and Brittany does the podcast, and all of those things. If we can share those things and keep Jesse's case going, and so with all the other missing people. So hopefully, you know, we get more awareness every year.
What gives, in the case of Jesse specifically, Penny, what gives you hope when you get up each day that this may be the day, or we're going to get a little bit closer to getting some answers?
We know, Dan, it's really difficult. I mean, and you know, Brittany kind of mentioned we're all dealing with it individually ourselves. And I think about Jesse daily, but most of the days, because life goes on and you have to make a living, you have to pay the bills, you have other family. But every once in a while something will happen, a picture will come up of Jesse, and it'll have a tendency to spiral me a little bit. And I allow myself enough time to just be sad and to think deep about her, and because I love her. But we do have hope. Detective Evett is on it. I mean, I can't say enough about him. And he meets with us regularly. And even if there's really no news, no nothing. But he feels like it's important to keep us in the loop. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. We still have hope for Jessie. We do not believe that she is alive. But it would really be nice to find her body so that we could give her a proper burial.
Closure is important, one way or the other. The thing is, you just don't know, and that's got to be the hardest part of all.
It is very difficult, and you know, you really don't think about all of this until it happens to you, and then it's shocking once you start looking into numbers and hear the stories of everybody else, and it's just sad. And I just, you know, I need to do something. I feel better about doing something rather than nothing, and helping people, you know, to deal with this. And they have a couple of different areas that you can go: National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I mean, those are just two of them. So there's a lot of activity out there, a lot of other organizations trying to help.
Well, both you and Brittany have some inner strength that I don't think I have, so I have to give you kudos to that. How can we help? The viewers of this show, the people of North Central Washington, the people of the Wenatchee Valley, how can we help find your daughter?
This is it. this is it. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you having us come on here and talk about this. This is helpful. And, you know, and it may not help us find Jessie, but it helps us as her family to feel good that we're doing something. And I think that's so important for everybody of a missing person. They need to feel like they're doing something. So appreciate that. And certainly if you even think something, please call the police station, call Detective Evett. He would love to hear from you. And he listens and he investigates everything he gets.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Yes.
He's really good. Thank you for coming down and doing this, and hopefully we've raised awareness on this day about the plight that you are going through. I have some photos that Brittany sent me, so if you think, hey, I wouldn't mind having a couple of copies just to carry in my wallet or whatever, and just in case I'm out and about and I see something or I think this might be Jessie, get a hold of me and I'll make sure you get copies of those. So I wish we could have visited on nicer terms, Penny, but
yes.
But again, thanks to you and Brittany for keeping the awareness up. And as long as Steve and you and Brittany don't give up, we won't either. Fair enough?
That's fair enough. Thank
Fair
you.
enough. Penny Peterson National Missing Persons Day is on Wednesday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
All right, let's put a little bow on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. First of all, Pine Canyon update, still closed. There you go. So again, Waterville to Orondo or vice versa, Badger Mountain Road will be your alternate route. Take a look at the snowfall expected at the crest of the Cascades from this morning to Friday morning. They have a winter weather advisory and it's going to start snowing and it's not going to stop pretty much until Saturday night. So this graphic only pertains to tomorrow morning at this time, but they're still going to get more snow. So 3 to 7 inches today, 4 to 8 inches tonight, 1 to 3 inches Friday, 1 to 2 inches Friday night, and then another big round of snow. Saturday, 4 to 8 inches of snow. Saturday night, 4 to 8 inches of snow. So from this morning, from basically right now, all the way through Sunday morning in the Cascades, anywhere from 17 to 32 inches of new snow is coming. So lots of mountain snow. And we'll do the past report in just a couple of minutes. Real quick, though, here's your forecast. The only thing out there that's changed really over the last 48 hours is Saturday. Going to be maybe a little rainy on Saturday morning. It's also going to be breezy as a weak low comes down from Vancouver Island on Saturday and Sunday. Still mild. Look at the high today, 45, 48, 49 on Saturday. And then we start cooling down. We have the potential for some pretty cool temperatures starting Sunday night. As you can see, the overnight low of 26, and then we'll be feeling more like February than March on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. As far as the mountain passes are concerned, right now, what do we have for you? Let's take you up to Snoqualmie Pass. Okay, the Snoqualmie Pass camera is down. I can tell you right now, it is raining hard and traction tires are advised. That is Stevens. It's snowing slush on the roadway. Traction tires are advised. You're okay on Blewett. No advisories, no restrictions, no snow. But again, significant no snowfall throughout the course of the day today and into tonight in the Cascades. That is it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.